Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So I understand I have been gone for a long while, and pretty good reason for that. I experienced a family tragedy. My grandfather, my maternal grandfather, passed away after a very long battle with Alzheimer's, and so I've been steadily dealing with that and, you know, having family come in from out of town. I have family spread all over the United States, so yeah, my grandfather passed away exactly a week after my recital, so he just started declining after that occurred, so things that were pretty stressful, I'll tell you that right now. But I can assure you now things have settled down, and I intend on getting back on the ball with my book reviews and my absinthe reviews and all that. I promise I have a lot of material to share with you guys. So, the book we're going to be talking about today is going to be Zofloya, or The Moor, by Charlotte Dacre. This is definitely an unusual story. It follows the story of a young daughter of an Italian noble family named Victoria, and she's spoiled but beautiful, so she's very much sought after by many of the noblemen and everything around her area in Venice, I think. So her father is a Marchese, so that's basically the Italian equivalent of the French Marquis. A very good, dear friend visits from Germany. All pretty much seems well and good in the family as far as that's concerned until Count Ordulf comes into the picture. And Count Ordulf, of course, has a very, very, very fucked up reputation of splitting up happy marriages and wooing married women. It's not cool. And of course, as if things weren't bad enough with Victoria's mother being wooed by this fiend, they actually end up running away together. How? What even? Dude, this isn't cool. So shortly thereafter, Victoria's brother disappears mysteriously, and of course the Marchese ends up encountering his dear friend Ardulf in Venice, and they are challenging each other to a duel. And of course, the Marchese falls very ill after being severely injured as a result of the duel. So of course Ardulf does tell his new lover, the Marchesa, of her failing former and estranged husband, and she comes like, "Oh my god, I love you so much! How did this happen? Ah!" Yeah, as if she doesn't know. So following her father's tragic death, Victoria, of course, finds herself pretty open to a lot of eligible bachelors around Venice. Most notably, of course, being Il Conte Barrenza. He definitely falls head over heels in love with Victoria, and he is powerless against her charms and her beauty. But of course, being the cruel, stubborn little brat that she is, she seems to find it advantageous to use her charms to get what she wants. Even when Victoria curses her mother right in front of Barrenza, he is kind of still aware of her evil nature, but he still is willing to let her slide on that. And that is all I'm going to reveal of the plot for now, because I feel like if I were to divulge anything further, it would deter you from reading it. Now, like I said at the beginning of this review, this definitely is an unusual novel. And it's unusual in the fact that this is basically a role reversal of The Monk by Matthew Gregory Lewis, especially when it comes to sex and gender. Now, of course, in The Monk by Matthew Gregory Lewis, you do have this antagonist who is this oppressive male figure and, you know, goes through this kind of Machiavellian path of destruction to get what he wants. But he doesn't really necessarily acknowledge that what he's doing is wrong, which is weird, of course. But then, when you come to Zofloya and Victoria's case in this novel, she knows what she's doing is wrong. She knows that she's a piece of shit. She continues to do it anyway. And it's really interesting to see this young female antagonist as the focal point of this novel. It is so really unusual and kind of thrilling to watch it fall apart and unravel and shit hit the fan. It really is interesting to see that. So definitely, this definitely departs from the Gothic heroine that we are so used to seeing at the end of the 18th century and beginning of the 19th century as far as Gothic novels are concerned. So you have the central character, a 17-year-old girl, perpetrating this horrific path of destruction. And it's really interesting. It really is. Now, what immediately leapt out to me when I read Zofloya by Charlotte Dacre is that, I hate to say it, but it is a ripoff of The Monk. A good ripoff. Definitely a good ripoff. A very good ripoff, but a ripoff nonetheless. Even the endings, which I am not going to spoil for you, are almost identical. And I'm just like, okay. I can tell she was very inspired by The Monk, absolutely. And while it was still enjoyable, you still can't help but compare this book to The Monk by Matthew Gregory Lewis, which, speaking of whom, I have a couple of other books in my collection by Matthew Gregory Lewis that I'm very excited to share with you guys, but that's going to come along a little bit later. But seriously, you cannot help but compare this to The Monk by Matthew Gregory Lewis, but the approach is definitely different. It's definitely different. And as far as Charlotte Dacre's writing style goes, it's pretty unique. It really reminds me of Anne Radcliffe, but she definitely kind of gets to the point. She's not very deep in her descriptions as Anne Radcliffe is, which I know that some people will find that a lot of Anne Radcliffe's descriptions and everything like that will kind of drag on and overshadow the story. So because there is so much action going on in Zofloya, you don't really notice the physical descriptions of Venice. The author just kind of assumes that you kind of know, you kind of been there, you've kind of been partying around Venice for a while, so yeah, I like that she doesn't linger too much on the descriptions, but at the same time I really do enjoy Anne Radcliffe's method of really focusing on the setting for the events that are taking place, and I think that's really important for setting the mood, but I understand that some people will find that she drags on a bit too much as far as that's concerned. So guys, I really hope that you guys will check this out. I really enjoy highlighting the work of a lot of female authors from the late 18th and early 19th century as far as Gothic literature is concerned, because I feel like there are certain female authors that don't get quite enough attention. I definitely plan on making a video about that, highlighting the women of Gothic literature. You know, Anne Radcliffe and Charlotte Dacre and several others, because I feel like they don't quite get enough attention. Not only will I be focusing on the authors themselves, but I will also be focusing on women that are portrayed in Gothic literature that don't fall within that stereotype that we all are sick of. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that you are looking forward to my future videos, and I will see you guys later. Bye!